What's going on, everybody? Peace, greetings to all you beautiful people out there. This your girl Tiffany coming through here live and fake. So thank you guys that's been subscribing and sharing my channel, liking my channel. All right. As today, I want to speak on the subject. I wanted to do it on the 4th, but there was too many fireworks going on and taking place, and I didn't want a lot of distraction. So today I want to talk about the Jayland Walker situation, the mass shooting that happened at the parade in Chicago in the area called Highland Park, and this whole gun control debate. All right. So I want to get started with this Jayland Walker situation. Jayland Walker was a young man from Akron, Ohio, that was shot nearly 90 times with 60 bullets striking him and killing him. He was shot by 7 white police officers during a traffic stop. He got out the car, took off running. He ran into a parking lot, and as he turned around, they shot him up multiple times. Now, I'm just going to speak my perspective on this. I happened to see the video, which you can watch on YouTube, and they showed the body cam. Now, with the body cam, based on that body cam, I did not see where people made the argument that he pulled the gun on the police and he shot at the police. Well, I didn't see that on the body cam. That's it. I'm only going by what I saw. What I did see is the fact he got the passenger side and he was running, and he turned around and he had his hand up and he was gunned down. Nowhere did I see any police officers get shot at. Nowhere did I see this man pull the gun on the officer and shooting at them. So I don't see where the justification comes in. And you know what? These talking points are very familiar because you got mostly white folks and some black folks that say that, oh, it was justifiable. Justifiable how? Give me, what is the justification behind 7 police officers gunned down one black man 60 times, between 60 and 90 times? What's the justification behind it? Maybe I'm missing something. I don't see anything justifiable. What I see is somebody that was gunned down like a dog. That's what I saw. And see, I had to fall back on having these conversations with individuals because of the mentality of how they feel about us as black people here in America. You know, you want to try to argue that, well, the police was in their rights to do this because their life was in danger. Their life was not no more in danger than his life was. It seemed like every time you run, the first thing that these officers would do is retrieve their weapon. And they start shooting at you the moment you take off running. So that's an indication that what a person that's running from the officer is a threat. So if the first thing you got to do is use a gun to shoot somebody and kill them, what does that say about you? And you can't tell me that a lot of these police officers is not ready to kill people, because a lot of them do. They be waiting and they be so eager to use their weapon to kill somebody, especially if they know it's somebody from another race. If they feel like they in that power and they in that right and they got that position, they going to abuse that power just by coming up with a reason to want to take the lives of an innocent individual. All right. So now I know there are people that do commit actual crimes and do actual things, and they don't get this type of result. They don't get this type of treatment. Many of them don't even serve their sentence all the way. Many of them walk out being free, or they get special treatments. You see this happen a lot. I think that this should have been done on people that's going around doing mass shooting. If you a mass killer, right, and you go around shooting innocent folks like what happened in Highland Park, Illinois, then those individuals should not be walking away. They should not even be free. What happened in Texas, that person should not have been walking away. What happened in Buffalo, New York, that individual definitely should not have been coming out alive. That person should have been dead. But when you got somebody that's running from the cops and that's unarmed, they get gunned down. They get shot, especially if they're black, and they get into a situation where there's white police officers. Then you want to know why in our community we have such a distrust into police. Why should we trust the police? Why should we even be bothered? Why? What is the reason? Why should we trust them? You want to know why people don't like calling cops? This is why. Why should we call the cops if the first thing they want to do is gun your ass down? And then another thing I'm going to speak on is protesting. And I know this because I used to be one of those individuals out there protesting. Protesting doesn't do enough. It does not do enough. Because if you're really fighting for justice, right? If you fight for justice, and what's up, brother Vinyasa? If you fight for justice, there should be no reason why they should place a curfew on you. Anytime you got a curfew on you and you gotta leave, that's not authentic justice. If there is a curfew on you, that is not an authentic justice. Because authentic justice look like being out there all times of night, all times of day. Civil disobedience. That is authentic justice. If there is no civil disobedience, then you can't sit here and say that that is a form of bring about justice. Because I can guarantee you that half of those people that's protesting, they're not willing to put their life on the line. They're not willing to sacrifice themselves. There are those who are willing to do so. But the rest of them, they're not willing to sacrifice themselves like that. They're not willing to put themselves at a greater risk to fight for the justice of the individuals who right, sorry about that. Sorry about that. But yes, half of the people that normally be protesting, they're not going to put themselves at a greater risk. They're only, I'm gonna put some game on this. They're only doing it for publicity purposes. What I mean by publicity purpose, they doing it to make themselves look good, to make it look like they really doing something. And to me, that's counter-revolutionary. So a lot of these people that get out here talk all this protesting stuff, they are counter-revolutionary. Because authentic protesting, right, and authentic justice would mean that you really put yourself at the greater risk to the extent, and you continuously fight for justice. And when there is a verdict that says the officers are that the officers pleaded not guilty, there should be a protest. There should be authentic fight for justice to that extent. So what you see here, this is what they do with protesting. They just basically treat it like a show. Okay, you guys, come on out here, put on a show. And once you put on the show, now it's time to end the show. Okay, you've been out here long enough. Now it's time to end the show and go back to your normal routine. And people comply with that. Excuse me. Yeah, so basically, these folks go get permits from the city to go out and march. And when they go out there and march, it looks good to us, right? They go out there and march. And then somebody come and tell them, all right, now it's time to shut it down. Go home. Instead of these people saying, well, we're not going anywhere until we get what we want, they comply. Now, what that go to show you? Is it really authentic? Are you really fighting for these people that you say you're fighting for? This is why I don't trust the Black Lives Matter organization. Are you really fighting for those people? Or are you in it because you see it as a way to gain revenue, to be able to create generational wealth? Are you really fighting for the justice of these people, or are you seeing it as a way to earn revenue? What are you doing? So once I start seeing these things and learn and realize what the true intention was behind the protesting and all of that, it was more so for publicity stunt. It was more so to put on a front. And at the end of the day, it was more counter-revolutionary. In this day and age, people don't have what it takes to really put their lives on the line. But I feel like this. I hate to say this, but 9 times out of 10, the family is not going to get justice. That's how I feel. Because as Black people, we ain't been really getting no justice when it came down to police brutality. So I can't see that the family getting the justice behind what happened to this young man. Now, I want to give a little background about Akron, Ohio, okay? Because I was born in Akron. Ohio. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. All right, so Akron is not really a big city. It's a small city. It's not that much really happening up there in that area, okay? So I don't know a whole lot about its history like that, but I do know that, it's a small town and it's not a lot of opportunities out there for a lot of people. Because in a lot of those businesses, right, is mostly catered to those that are white than it is for Black people. So you're going to see a lot more white businesses up there than you will see a lot of Black businesses. And then you'll see that there's a little bit more white population in Akron than you would see Black population. Not saying that there's no Black people, because there are. There's a good significant amount of Black people up there, but you'll see a lot more white folks. Okay? So a lot of the black people up there in Akron, right? Most of them come out of the inner city environment. All right. They come out the inner city neighborhood, and then for a lot of them, they don't really get a chance to actually do something that's more constructive because of lack of opportunities there. So either you will hear about gang activity going on, if not gang activity, um, people playing sports or people doing drugs. When I was standing up there at one point in time, if you went into downtown area, it was pretty much a ghost town because ain't nothing really there. A lot of the people up there, they get bored. So a lot of kids, when they skip classes or skip in school, right, they'll go to the University of Akron, which is right there in downtown area, because that's where a lot of recreational activity will take place, right there at the University of Akron. So kids used to sneak up there and they'll go and play bowling or whatever. They'll do whatever because it was a lot more stuff to do over there in the university, in the college, than it was in the actual city in itself. Hey, how you doing, brother? Peace. What's going on? How you doing? Salam alaikum. So yeah, so it's not that much of an opportunity up there in Akron. And that was one of the reasons why I left and came back to the South, because, you know, by me growing up in the South, I was so used to being in the environment, in the Southern environment. So I didn't see that much opportunity going on in the city of Akron for me to stay around. And not to mention, it's very cold. It's very cold too. But yeah, but see, the thing is, you have to question yourself. What is life for an individual? Are we united? Are we one nation under God? What does that mean to be one nation under God? Why should I stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance when you have shown me time and time again that we are not one nation under God? There is a divisiveness. There's still a racism. People want to argue that there is no racism. There is no divisiveness. Well, there is. And if you can't see that, then you just trying to create a fantasy that is not there. You're trying to create a fantasy that's not there. You got to understand that this thing that we deal with, it ain't going away anytime soon. This disease that we're fighting called racism is not going anywhere anytime soon. It was fixed. It was created. And in this modern time, you believing that racism is dying out. No, it's not. It's just bring about transformation, but it ain't dying. It's not dying out. So the mass shooting that occurred in Chicago, well, a young man stood on top of the building and shot at multiple people while they was at the parade. But he get to walk out alive. And if you know, most of the mass shooters are European or Mexican. They get to walk out alive. They get to walk out alive. They get to be free, basically. And they get to be put into handcuffs and thrown away in the paddy wagon, right? But people like me and you, 9 times out of 10, we gonna lose our lives. Hell, I hate to be a black woman to walk the damn streets and not look at a police officer and see what his or her attention is. Anytime I come across a police officer, you best believe I'm looking at them hard. I'm looking at them and I'm staring at them because I want to know, what are your intentions at this point? What are your intentions? What are you going to do to me? If I make one move, how would you respond to me? A person that is unarmed. Do I want to speak to you today? Do I want to say hello to you? No. Do I even have a reason to say hello to you? No. Do I even want you in my environment? Do I want you in my circle? No. Do I even want you to even come closer to me? No. And I hope I don't need you for anything. But if I do, I would have to need you for a case of a major emergency. That's the only time you should need a police officer for emergency. But other than that, I wouldn't want to need you for anything. Why? Why should I need you? Besides emergency. I don't want to be around you. And then another thing, I can never see myself dating a cop. I'm sorry, I can never see myself dating a cop. I can't see myself dating a cop or FBI or somebody that's a CIA agent. I just can't see myself doing it. So if you really want to know who the biggest thugs are, it's not the ones that's in these streets, right? It's not the individuals that's in your neighborhood that walk around with bandanas. It's the people that's in the law enforcement, the politician, those that's in the military. Those are your biggest thugs. Even those in the medical industry. Those are the biggest thugs. Not the people not the little average Joes out here. They just imitators. They imitate what they see up top. But your biggest thugs is the politician, the military government, and the law enforcement. Those are your biggest thugs and gangsters. Now, I want to get on to this next thing about this debate about gun control. So some argue that there should be limitation on guns, right? Or there should be people who should not have guns. And then there are those that say, well, we should have rights to carry weapons. We should have rights to protect ourselves. Again, this is not a new debate. This is a debate that's been going on for a long time. So the question is whether individuals should have rights or citizens. Should citizens have rights to bear arms? That's the question. Should those citizens have a right to bear arms? And some people argue yes. There are others that argue no. And it creates the conflict. Well, if you tell me I can't have a right to bear arms, then how am I supposed to protect myself? How am I supposed to protect my family? How am I supposed to protect my surroundings? And then there's arguments about open carry states, right? States that allow people to open carry. Well, this should not be happening. People should not be open carrying because more and more people gonna go get guns and they gonna go and kill more individuals. But then you got this party over here arguing that, well, people should have the right to carry their weapons, but they should just be smart about it and they should know when and where to use their weapons. But either way it goes, even if there is no open carrying policy, right? People gonna find access to open carry a weapon anyhow. Even if they place a limitation on guns as far as like what age limit can a person purchase a gun. You're telling me somebody that's below the age of 21 won't have any access to buying weapons? You tell me somebody that's below the age of 21 won't have any access of getting guns, right? You tell me they're not going to be able to go out here and carry rifles, right? So no matter what you do, you can set limitation on age. People going to still find a way to get weapons. If they can't get them from the pawn shop, if they can't get them from the gun shows, right? Or if they can't go to the range and buy one, they're going to get it off the streets at a cheaper price. They're going to get that. So you really can't stop anybody from buying weapons. And as a matter of fact, America has created that platform. America has created that opportunity. America has opened that door. When you put out the Second Amendment and said that people have a right to bear arms, you created that opportunity. And I'm going to say this time and time again. America is built on the principle of violence. That's the foundation of America, is violence. So how can't you get rid of violence when you continuously to perpetuate violence? It's all a learned behavior. It's all a learned behavior. All right, just let me know. Make sure you reach out to me on Facebook. Reach out to me on Facebook, inbox me, and I'll let you know. So I'll be available Wednesday and Thursdays. Those are my days off. I'll give you more information. All right, just reach out to me on Facebook. Okay, just reach out to me in my inbox, and then we can negotiate that. All right. Yeah, but my thing is, people are going to always find access. When you create something or give them a platform or give them an opportunity, people are going to take advantage of those opportunities. In other words, the damage is done. Once you do that, once you create that opportunity and open up their doors for them, they're going to take advantage of it. You got kids that's younger than 18 that's carrying weapons. You got kids as young as 9-year-old, 10-year-olds that's walking around with weapons. So if you're a country that's known for violence, right, and you constantly perpetuate violence on television, see, this is the biggest enemy. The biggest enemy is television. The biggest enemy is media. Why? Because of advertisement. When you constantly advertise stuff to people and you constantly put it on television, everybody's mindset is not going to be the same. Everybody's mindset does not program the same way. Some people have enough discipline and know that this is something that they're not going to pick up on. It's just merely entertainment, so they're not going to do it. And then you got those over here that don't have the discipline. And when they see something on television, they're going to become inspired by that. They're going to become inspired by what those individuals are doing, and they're going to try to imitate that in real life. Even with video games. These people know what they're doing when they create video games, right? It's not just kids just playing the game just to be playing them. They're playing the game so they can learn the algorithm. They can learn the techniques of how to go out and play as these characters in the video games. So let's give a prime example. Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto, right? This game is known for violence. It's known for showing the characters or the players robbing each individuals, and it perpetuates the concept of drugs. It perpetuates sexual activities. Okay, you're telling me when you got kids that's playing these games that they're not going to want to imitate what they see on those video games? So now you're going to have somebody that's going to walk around and try to do these challenges and thinking that they can live a Grand Theft Auto in real life, but it will lead to major consequences. And then when you look at TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, when they got all these different challenges going on, right? And you got these kids and you got these adults, they doing these challenges. And they, especially the ones that could possibly put them in danger. They try to do these challenges and they try to live out those challenges, and they put themselves in danger and put other people at risk. So at the end of the day, America constantly perpetuate violence. It's like, how can't you get rid of violence if you constantly perpetuate it? And how do they do that? They do it through media advertisement. So what do you expect for the behavior of the people in your country to be like if you constantly advertise things on TV for marketing, for sales? What do you think the attitude of the people is going to be like? What do you think people are going to do? People are going to learn. So again, these are social constructs which bring about social engineering, which bring about social behavior that becomes learned behavior. And that's all it is learned behavior. Even racism. Racism is a learned behavior. So those who are racist, they didn't wake up one morning and say, well, I'm going to be racist. They learned how to be racist because of how they were taught from the beginning. They were taught that they belong to this particular group, that this group right here are the minorities and they are the majority. So once you teach that this group over here is the minority and you teach that these individual over here is the majority, they're going to have that mindset. They're going to become egotistical and they're going to see themselves above everybody else because they are taught to believe that the people that may not look like them are the minorities. So I'm saying this again, America has not come out of its racist mindset. Even when you got President Biden, who was a well-known racist, with President Biden, he hasn't came out of his racist mindset. With Kamala Harris, yes, Kamala supposed to represent black people, right? But she's operating under the racist mindset. She's operating under prejudice. They all are. So at the end of the day, who can't you trust? Who can't you rely on? So it's a catch-22. It's a catch-22. But anyways, though, anyways, that's all I have to say. And that's all I'm going to speak on. And anybody that sit here and try to give justification and try to make it righteous for what happened to Jayland Walker, y'all sick. Y'all see now. Y'all psycho. Because there's no way 90 times getting hit 90 times in the chest should be justifiable. Especially if nobody pulled the gun and shooting at the officer. Unless you can show me exactly where this young man pulled this gun out on the police and shot and killed a police officer, then we can sit down and have a conversation. Until then, if you can't show me where this young man pulled a gun and shot at the cops, then we ain't got nothing to talk about. Because I stand on my position. It was no justification behind this boy getting shot 90 times. It was no justification by 7 police officers. No justification at all, none whatsoever. Because if it was your loved one, you won't want to justify that. You won't be justifying them getting gunned down like a dog 90 times in the streets. You wouldn't make that type of justification. So for those that make that argument, you got to be senile. You got to be very senile. And that's all I got to say. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and log off, and I will maybe come back later on to do another live on another subject. So be on the lookout for that. All right, so until next time, y'all take it easy. Peace and power elevation. Shout out to the chat. Thanks for everybody that's coming through on the chat. Let me see if I have anything. Let me see see if I have any comments in the chat. And then I'm gonna have to because I go on YouTube. Well, I guess everything is good then. All right, so I will talk to you guys later. And again, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, share my channel, check out my videos, all the other great stuff. And I'll keep you guys posted. Until then, peace and power, elevation be to all you. This your girl Tiffany, and I'm logging off to saying deuces. Thank you guys so much. Please be safe. All right. Thanks.